fires to redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory. So we still remain. Stand
Am I live? Am I here? All right, there we go. Welcome everybody to season 11 of Blue Otter Diamond. We are here for the start of what is going to be another phenomenal season of League of Legends action here in winter 2024. My name is Moose. I am a temporary solution for this week's matches, but joining me today is the one and only temporary solution. It's Isaac. How's it going?
Yeah, it's like in shoot Kung Fu Panda, where it's like Poe's like, I'm not a big fat panda, I'm the big fat panda. So like,
Mm-hmm.
we have a temporary solution over there, but none other than that. But yes, welcome in. Our matchup. Actually, we went over the matchup, right? I've already forgotten now. I've forgotten trying to make a Kung Fu Panda reference, and that took way too much of my brain space. So we're starting off on a great foot. Either way, we'll go over either way. Akuma Sabers are up against Elysium Dawn here in week 1. From top to bottom for Akuma Sabers, we have Toomey, Rinku, Mui. That's going to be a fun one to cast. Toomey and Mui. It's like Wei and Wei in LPL.
No way.
Yeah, no way. Speaking of no way, we might see him as a fairly contested pick between Mui and Ratchet on the side of Elysium Dawn. But continuing down, we have Rat the WG. That's the full name. I'm probably just going to go with the Rat throughout this cast. And my personal favorite username of this lobby, which is down caret hyphen up caret, pronounced as Kyle.
Yes, Kyle.
Yeah, and quickly through Elysium Dawn, we got OP Ivy up top. Furry little Fury, yeah, furry little feet. Are we going to say that full thing? That's going to be shortened down something later. Ratchet, Fire, and Koyesh. It's a mouthful. We already got the draft underway. Bears being picked on board. Bans are Volibear, Maokai, Thresh, Karma, Cinna, and Smolder. Some picks that are very contested in terms of champion pool between these two bottom lanes, mostly, and jungle.
For sure. And I think that I like that Smolder is still getting banned away. I very much respect that Karma is still getting banned out because it is a flex pick, but the mid lane prowess of Karma right now is, I think, still, really strong. Once you're able to get going, once Malignance gets picked up, you're able to start to steamroll in the mid game, and you have a pretty decent early game as well. Varus for Akuma Sabers, I mean, that signals to me that you want to be able to dominate early game, and you want to be able to maybe have Ezreal be in a tough position. I mean, Ezreal was picked into this, so I am curious to see how Elysium plays with the support role, if they're just going to let Ezreal kind of fend for themselves, and we're going to go for more of a roaming support. We'll see what they decide to pick, which I'm assuming is going to be later on in the draft. But for now, very confident in their mid laner. The Ahri is going to get picked R2 here, Isaac.
Yeah, one that's definitely been rising in popularity in recent patches. But going back on the ADC picks, Ezreal definitely more so of a fire comfort pick. So that being played around the bans I was talking about earlier, most of these are contested ones that both these ADCs like playing. So if you want to leave that one open, game 1 of the season, and you just kind of want to be comfortable and to like start gelling together, I don't think it's necessarily a bad call, even if it's not necessarily the most popular. And speaking of Hui, we will actually have Hui locked in on the side of Kuma Sabers. And speaking of mid laners, you're mentioning how the Karma was another option. One thing that also is reason why I would say it's a slightly more important than that is Azir is disabled across most of just about every league everywhere. Yeah, because of bugs. So not only is that the thing, the mid lane champion pool slightly smaller for the mid laners here, so taking another one off the board, potentially never a bad idea.
Sure. I'm a little gagged that we're going to see Xin Zhao here up against the Vi. Good call, I think, from Akuma going with Vi B2. Ezreal and Ahri cannot escape the cease and desist, and so you're able to then get into that backline. I guess for the Xin Zhao, if you're able to use Crescent Guard effectively, you could deny the root from Chain's Corruption, you could deny a little bit of Flaze damage, and maybe make it a little bit easier for your backline to survive, and you're able to then get that dash in, so that if you do get that good off angle, Ezreal and Ari can then follow up with you, and then you're able to get the Hui down with very little mobility. You're able to potentially get whatever support is out of position, because both Hui and Varus, I mean, looking at that, very low mobility coming in here. And so, while you do have the Vi that has a lot of options to be able to get into the backline, I don't know where the follow-up is yet. And so I'm curious to see what that is going to look like. Renata getting banned away, I like, because it's going to make Vi's all-in a little bit more difficult. Aatrox as well, worried about going for that strong side there for Akuma Sabers. Signals to me that Elysium might want to go for something more tanky to round out their composition in the R4 pick.
I would suspect that's what they'd probably go for, just on the champions that they've shown. I mean, it's not a necessity to have some sort of, beefy goon soaking up all the space and damage, but and especially early on, without maybe not having as much coordination amongst these two teams. I'm not on a personal level, I'm not familiar with how familiar, again, redundancy. The familiarity between these players. So if it's a fairly new squad, okay, Tahm Kench, the option for most likely support on the side of Elysium. I don't necessarily dislike it immediately too much, but it's also kind of like, as like a second, I feel like they'd need something else, like to maybe guarantee some sort of engage, especially with the range that Varus and Hui can bring. Maybe.
Is a flex pick. It can go topside. And I think that that's what they're trying to go for here. Because if Akuma picks something that can't bully TK topside, I think you just sack him up there, and then you get a better roaming bottom laner. You can go something like the Nautilus, for example. And now maybe you don't have that same... You have a little bit more frontline for your Ezreal and Ari, and you're going to be able to get a little bit more protection for them as we move into the later stages of the game. That Devour, if it's used correctly, can stop a lot of what Akuma is trying to go for, but it does take execution like we were talking about. I have no idea how much these teams have played, as the Groggs is going to be the final pickup here, probably going to be going topside. So, I mean, it's anybody's guess to see what this R5 is going to be. My bold prediction is that we're looking to get a support here. Bold prediction.
Yeah, definitely reasonable. I mean, honestly, anything short of like a second ADC would like, other than that, also, usually I remember to close my door, but I guess we won't mind being joined in by the third caster, Pepper, back there. Her name's Pepper. Welcome, Pepper. Yeah. Unfortunately, no Warwick pick or Nasus to get the dog theme in. That being said, Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser, the selection here for the side of Elysium Dawn. And so that's Tahm Kench not quite going top lane. Kind of understandable, especially into the fairly short range that Goggis can bring. Mordekaiser, I'm not sure how much I like it here, admittedly. I mean, maybe ult Vi at objectives and then win any sort of contest, but my familiarity with the Mordekaiser Grogis matchup, honestly, not that great. Assuming that it is Grogis top, which I'm sure it would have to be, but
it would be interesting to see like I mean, I guess you could go for something like the Varus and then maybe go for like a Gragas support, Rel jungle Vi top. I doubt it though, very very unlikely. Which I mean does signal to Varus Rel is a good combo together. You get that crash down in, and you could potentially, if you're able to either get the flip over or you can get the crash down, it's guaranteed damage from the Varus with the piercing arrow and then the rain of arrows. You could potentially force Ezreal to use that flash after Arcane Shift if you're able to time it correctly. So I think that there is a lot of options there for Akuma to be able to dominate the early game, and I think that that's kind of the objective here. Is I think you really need to make sure that Varus gets a lot of gold early. The roaming potential from the Rel is there as well with the TK to kind of counteract what the TK is trying to go for. I guess that's now my question is bottom side here. Does this Tahm Kench, does Kyle from Elysium, pardon me, do they try to go for more roaming? Do they try to go for some early Void Grub plays? Do they try to go for some ganks mid lane? Or do you think he's going to be tethered to that bottom lane?
Obviously, things are situational as they pan out, but I would be under the assumption that I'd expect to see Rel looking to move off the bottom side of the map a lot more. Just the extra range and wave damage that Varus can bring over Ezreal. I mean, I would expect that bottom lane to be shoved in pretty much 24/7 for at least the first 10 minutes. And yeah, as you say, that's the perfect timing to then move up, get those grubs, which then Varus pushes more and gets more gold. And so I would imagine that's how they'll play it. Obviously, situational things come around, but that's the expectation for sure.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, and then going back over into the team fight phase, I always get concerned when I see Rel and Gragas both on the same team, because you have such potential to get flamed in chat, get flamed in comms for ulting, and then your counterpart messes it up, and you end up losing this big wombo combo. And the wombo combo that I see is Rel gets in with the Magna Storm, you follow that up with Spiraling Despair and that Chains of Corruption, and it's very difficult for all of that damage to be taken off. It's very sticky damage. Once you land that Spiraling Despair from play, once you land that Chains of Corruption, you're stuck in there, and now it's really bad news bears for the side of Elysium. You do have a lot of escape with the Arcane Shift and then the Spirit Rush from Ezreal Ahri. Mordekaiser has the option to just take somebody out of the picture. I think that you take out either the Rel or the Gragas, and you maybe deny the start of some big wombo combo there for Akuma. And then with the powerful frontline that TK provides, with the Crescent Guard from Xin Zhao, the teamfight looks a little bit easier for Elysium to be able to navigate. But if it's just a straight 5v5, or if the Death Realm isn't effective, I think that Akuma takes these team fights. And I think that that's something that Elysium's going to have to look at as we get into the game. With that being said, though, Isaac, we got to start with my favorite part of casting League of Legends. It's the Dragon Draft. Here's how it's going to work. We're gonna pick the Dragon Souls. We're gonna predict which Dragon Soul it's gonna be here for game one. We'll do, normal snake draft. You'll start with one, I'll take two, you'll take two, and then I will take the remaining one. And we'll see which Dragon Soul it is as we get into the game. So with that being said, Isaac, I'll have you start.
Cloud.
Cloud? You're a Cloud enjoyer?
I am, actually, honestly.
Oh my god.
Honestly, but consider this, Rel, Vi, Cloud Soul.
Okay.
I it's not the most exciting soul. I mean, Hextech's pretty much and Infernal are certainly more exciting. But I think Cloud Soul, people have, clown Soul for so long that I think it generally gets overlooked as actually being a decent soul to gain, especially when you consider Ahri, Xin Zhao, all very effective users of, even Mordekaiser as well.
Sure.
We've got a lot of really exciting Cloud Soul champions in this match. So,
Gotcha.
B1 Cloud.
B1 Cloud. I am going to counter with the Infernal Soul and the Mountain Soul then.
Okay, yeah, then Ocean. Oh wait, no, there's 6 souls. Shoot.
Yes,
Ocean Hextech then.
Ocean Hextech? Alrighty.
Because even though I actually like the Kimtech map, the soul itself is underwhelming. So
fair enough. I get to know the caliber of player, I get to know the caliber of person based on their favorite souls, and I've learned so much about you, Isaac. I now
Cloud Soul Enjoyer.
Cloud Soul Enjoyer, like all good color casters. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start the season off with a bang. Sabers versus Elysium. It'll be fun. It will be fantastic. It'll be Blue Water Madness. We'll see you guys. Welcome back, everybody, or should I say welcome to the Blue Otter Diamond Season 11 premiere. My name is Moose, joined today with Isaac, and of course, a Moose cast, a cast where Moose is present, would not be complete without Wookie Monster, who follows me everywhere I go. Shout out to Wookie Monster for being phenomenal. He's going to be your producer here for these Thursday games. Great producer, great observer, and make sure that we are always running smoothly. So we get a thank you, Wookie Monster, in the chat. That would be, as the cool kids say, super poggers. Let's go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Wookie Monster.
Let's
We appreciate
go.
you. Yeah.
Let's go.
Other things on the Wookie Monster trail. I think he's just omnipresent. Oh wait, hold on.
Okay. Gonna start off with first damage onto Mui. That's gonna be a lot of damage to start things off, and Mui's gonna be in trouble. Gonna go right into the waiting hands of Ratchet, who's gonna get that electrocute damage, and that is not the way that you want to start off the league.
No, not ideal by any means. And actually, speaking up towards this top half, I don't believe Ivy will get much more. No, yeah, but still a lot of just damage advantage going over to the side of Elysium Dawn early on. That's going to feel really good, especially in that mid lane, because that's going to be a recall already from Mui, and he does have teleport. I maybe he commits it this early. I will have to wait and see. Yeah, he will commit it immediately. So already down a teleport on the side of Akuma Sabers. Maybe not the biggest issue. We'll have to see like how impactful that is, but certainly something that just down the line could blow the gate wide open.
For sure. And I think like it's on the eyes of Furry Little Feet. Potentially go for a play, get Mui out of the lane. And if you are, Ratchet can just really start to escalate the lead for Elysian in the mid lane. But for now, no opportunities for any sort of ganks, as both teams are going to go for inverted jungle paths. They're going to both start on red and then go down to their blue side. Everyone kind of knows where both junglers are at for the time being. Got Ghost on Rat, going to not go for the cleanse with the somewhat substantial amount of CC that Elysian has. Do you think the cleanse was necessary for the Boris?
See, the thing is with cleanse, it could definitely be nice if he does get hit by an Aura Charm, but other than that, I mean, there's the Tom third proc stun.
Yeah.
Really, that's like the only other cleansable CC there is, no? Or
yeah, that'd be it. That'd be the only two.
Yeah. So I understand the thought process behind it. Whether or not it'll be the correct decision, we'll have to see. And honestly, I don't have the biggest insight into the summoner spell decision on ADC. I think it would probably be better, just as that insurance. But I'm not too displeased with the decision that Rat goes with on that Ghost.
Sure. And I mean, I think you're playing to win there. And if you're able to get out of the laning phase without some big issues, I think that you're going to be feeling pretty good with your decision. And so far, pretty even in terms of CS in the bottom lane. I kind of alluded to how the bottom lane was probably going to be the most chaotic, the most volatile. A gank attempt from Elysian down onto the bottom side from Ratchet and Furry Little Feet did not commence. But we are going to be seeing Renku, the Vi, on their way after their first back. Very early back, I would argue, from the Vi, but getting out. Going to be able to get back to the bottom side of the rift, go back towards their Krugs, and maybe go for that early dragon at Ocean Drake, spawning in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to imagine that, just considering the positioning, that's what Renku would have to do, given the situation, but actually not going to immediately head towards that bottom lane, so let's wait and see. That being said, we got stunned mid lane. Okay, actually, I was about to throw it over to you because the charm did land, but I was debated, so
the first bait of the season. Let's go, Isaac.
Yeah, let's go. Honestly, it's one of those bad habits of mine that like when like any sort of fairly like big CC lands, regardless of like how reasonable it would be to act upon, it's like, oh, CC.
Oh?
Like, like neuron, like my singular neuron up here activates, and it's just like, okay, we have CC. It's like a certain, it's like Lee syndrome, but on any form of CC instead of just the Q.
It's gonna be fun though. Fun to see how your one neuron fires.
Oh wait, whoa!
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, well, you did have the read that it was something that could have been a problem, and Mui is going to assassinate Ratchet in the mid lane. First blood gonna go to Akuma Sabers. However, they will not be able to hold on to the Dragon Pit, as Kyoshi and Furley Feet will be there. They will steal away first dragon of the game.
Yeah. I think I was so like blindsided by the solo kill into, I believe yes, it was a solo kill into mid lane from Hui being able to drop abilities from 50 miles out, and clearly I wasn't the only one surprised by it, considering it was not something that Ratchet immediately recognized and did pay as a result for it. So as to how Elysium Dawn did manage to get in onto the Dragon Pit there, I am not too sure, but speaking of Drakes, next one up is that Infernal one, and so personally, I like my chances on the Soul Lottery right now. I'm feeling Cloud Soul coming up, and Cloud Drake coming up in like 10 minutes. We'll see it right here. It's coming through. And speaking of objectives, though, actually, we're going to get the Void Grubs. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, all 3 grubs getting claimed by Elysium Dawn. So across the map early on, they have every single neutral objective that's been available to them here within the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, a bit passive, I would say, from Renku. I don't know if that was the intentional play, saying, hey, we're going to forfeit a little bit of that early game to Elysian. I think that maybe they could have contested the Void Grubs, especially with the back timers. They knew that Kyle and Fire were both bottom side, so there wasn't really much, Koyesh wasn't there, so maybe could have been an opportunity to contest that. Regardless, that is going to give Elysian a little bit of a gold lead and give them the opportunity to go for that Hunger of the Void buff in the next couple of minutes, and we'll see if they do want to allocate multiple members and a lot of resources to getting that buff later on down the line. For now, though, we have been seeing a couple of backs from members.
Oh, wait,
Root is going to land.
Damage.
Spiraling Despair is going to land on a Ratchet, and there's nothing they can do. Mui will get their second solo kill of the game.
Yeah, I'm still always surprised by just how sneaky the amount of damage that Hui can do. It's one of those things that for whatever reason, just on its own, seems so almost innocent in the amount of damage that he can do, at least early on. But then all of a sudden you're hit and your health bar is gone, and on a personal level, this is probably the reason why I was never the greatest player on any means, but it just sneaks up on you, and clearly it sneaked up on Ratchet once again, as Akuma Sabers go to nothing up, both on solo kills onto Mui.
Yeah, and that is going to start to, I think, activate this way and get them early towards that first item, Alternator unlocked, and so I think definitely something that Elysian's going to have to work towards. Well, we were talking about that, though. There was a gank attempt onto Fire and Koyesh, but it did not work out thanks to some good warding. As Crescent Guard is going to get a drop from Furry Little Feet, the Devourer's going to come in. The True Shot Barrage does not land on a Kyle, who's going to be forced to flash away, but now Ratchet is here waiting in the wings, misses the charm, and is unable to take out the Rel. I think that should have been a KO move, but instead, Akuma stay unkilled in this game. And we're going to see potentially if now Ivy is in trouble, and they are in trouble. Cease and desist your action. And that's going to be another kill here for Akuma Sabers.
Yeah, just honestly really good awareness from Rinku, noticing the gank going downside, finds a timer in the top lane. If I do go back to the original gank from the side of Elysium Dawn and Ratchet's Spirit Rush, I don't think I saw the target actually go off on the damage, even though it's like at level 1 a very nominal amount of damage considering the health bars. I feel like it would have definitely been enough to maybe chain that Prime to at least make this a 1-for-1, as opposed to once again Akuma Sabers coming out on top, and now 3-0 on the kill count and 1.5k gold. It looks slightly better as this outlook anyway. Maybe not too much different in that regard, but every little thing counts.
For sure. And with the lead getting larger and larger for Mui in the mid lane, Ratchet not getting that kill is a bit of a bad news bear situation, and I'm a little concerned because there was a charm at Void Grubs that went wide, and I feel like the charm as well onto Kyle should have connected. Regardless of that, if we're not landing charms, that's going to make it a little bit easier for Akuma to be able to survive some of those gank attempts and go for those side lane plays. But for now, it is still laning phase. 11 minutes in, Void Grubs are going to get started by Akuma Sabers. First one was completed. The Death Realm is going to go up against Toomey, though, who's going to try to be able to survive in it, and does survive in it, but the drag will come out, and Ivy will make some revenge play against them. Meanwhile, Void Grubs will be taken by Akuma Sabers, so no Hunger the Void buff in this game. The Chem Plants will bloom, and I will be the one that has the correct dragon assumption here for game 1.
No, my Cloud Soul! We hardly knew ye. We hardly knew ye, Cloud Soul. But, it's okay. Out of all the maps, I think I do like at the very least, I do like the map, even if the Soul is fairly underwhelming. That being said, we just might have a fight coming through.
Oh, sees an assist in onto Ratchet, but for Little Feet going to take the Spiraling Despair, and Renku's gonna go down. Oh, he gets it! He gets the kill onto Mui. Double kill for Furry Little Feet and a shutdown onto the Hui. That's gonna give a ton of gold to the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, absolutely massive there from the side of Elysium Dawn, just to, at the very least, stop the bleeding and on a gold count, actually take a minor lead. Honestly, a little bit inconsequential at this point, but certainly a way to, turn it around, and because at this point it was looking fairly bleak for the side of not Akuma Sabers. they're the ones who were up 3-0 up until just a few moments ago. No, but still, any form of life, it wasn't by no means over at this point. I don't want to get that out of my mind. Now that I've spoken, I definitely made it sound like that might have been the case. It was by no means over, but it's one of those things that, even just for the mental, at the very least, if you're on the side of Elysium Dawn, to just feel like, okay, we can do this. We do have an avenue into where Hui just doesn't just solo kill us until the end of the game, and so, just really well executed at that. Not quite respecting the amount of mobility that Ratchet gets with the Spirit Rush there from the side of Akuma Sabers.
For sure. And that is going to, like you said, stabilize a little bit there in the mid lane, kind of stop the momentum that Mui had. Still in the lead in terms of gold, and does have that Luden's Companion as long with the fully completed boots. Furry Little Feet gonna go for a play against Toomey. Nice dodge, the wind becomes lightning. But the Audacious Charge in the knockup, going to give a little bit of damage, and on to this Gragas, who misses the play onto Furry Little Feet. The Spiraling Despair is going to land. The flash going to come in as Ratchet will come forward with the teleport. It is now a 3v3, and I don't know if Akuma wants to go for this one still. A lot of resources have been allocated. This play is far from over. A little bit of damage from Mui onto the back, but no one looking to commit anything just yet.
Yeah, so since we don't have quite the commitment there, I think a huge portion of that great escape from Furry Little Feet was actually that little bit of movement. Not sure if you recognize that, but he changed his movement right as the explosive cast went out from Toomey and actually started walking towards the enemy. It's one of those things that, it's like, it's not all that impressive in terms of like mechanical ability, but oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, oh, the Master on a 3 into the cease and desist. Great initiation from Kyle, but is there any more? No, the follow-up is not there. Varus was not there, and in this 4v5, Akuma Sabers is going to be taken completely out of the picture. The chance of corruptions will land in on to Furry Little Feet, but it does not matter. That is a 4-0 in favor of Elysian Dawn.
Wow, that was sudden. But I mean, I guess that is kind of what you expect with the compositions that we have drafted. But all through that while, the fact that fire never went down and all that was committed onto the ADC, the getting just tons of value from that exhaust there, and being able to keep alive and just output that little bit extra damage. Really, I would say it was most likely the game changer in that fight. Obviously, I'd have to go back and like look at it much closer to see how much it did, but just on a gut feeling, which is really all we have. You know, sometimes I don't know where I was going with that. No thoughts had empty. Wow, I was going somewhere with that. Help me out here, Moose. My brain's died.
For sure. I mean, my initial read on that was that Akuma Sabers committed the Spiraling Despair and the Explosive Cask in that earlier 3v3, and then yes, the initiation was good from the Rel, and you get a great Magnet Storm, but there's no follow-up damage because the big ultimates have already been used. And then, since it was a 4v5, Elysium was able to pick and clean up shop, and that ended up resulting in you having a rough situation. But we now have to go to the Dragon, with both these teams looking to be able to get it. It would be soul point for Elysium. Let's see if they're able to find anything with it. Radget's going to miss that charm, as Toomey's going to be down half HP. Electric damage is going to come in. Going to be able to get a little bit of health back, though, so keep that in mind. Renku going to come forward, going to get dragged in. The Death Robe is there. Great utilization of that Crescent Guard from Furry Little Feet will put everyone into a rough position. Flash or a attack from Renku, going to be able to get over the wall, be able to avoid it. A lot of damage, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 as Furry Little Feet's going to go down. Ivy is next. Renku is extremely low. Ratchet is going to land the charm this time. Going to be able to get the kill onto Tubi. That's Fire picking up their second of the game. D-Leash on the Chemtech Drake. Renku is 1 HP. There's nothing Akuma Sabers can do. And it's another fight that feels like Elysium's able to get.
Yeah, at the very least, Dragon's still going to be available and ready to go. There's still a few seconds before Furry Little Feet does come back, so he's actually back on the map now. I don't think they will try to sneak this away, where, yeah, no, that's Rinku starting his recall there. So, we still have the Dragon up still, despite all that, just utility. Why is my brain not farting right now with word section? Either way, a lot was committed towards that fight onto the Chemtech Drake, and for all those resources used to be committed onto it, I will probably go down now as we're right back on it a few seconds later, though I don't really see a way that they get in here other than, you know, hopeful explosive cask. Going to be soul point there though on Chemtech Soul. I've said this enough times, but I can't repeat this enough. It's one of the more underwhelming souls.
Yeah, I mean, get that extra armor, magic resist, get the extra, damage at lower HP if you're able to land it. So, I mean, it is still a soul. It is still stats for your team, and having stats in a game of stats is going to be impressive. Spiraling Despair going to land from Mui, going to put a lot of damage onto Ivy, but Ivy is tanky enough and is level 12, should be relatively fine, and will be able to get under tower. Only two structures getting taken. Both on the side of Akuma Sabers. We got a fight potentially in the bottom side of the rift. Very Little Feet is going to potentially be in trouble. Crescent Guard is going to get used. Renku is going to be able to use a Season Assist. The teleport is going to come in from the side of from Toomey, and they will be able to make it a 1-for-1, though. The cavalry is arrived for Elysium, and that is going to be a nice devour coming in from Kyo, trying to be able to get Ivy out, but it's a double kill for Toomey, who is now 1 HP, but is able to get out of this fight. Mui will take out Koyesh, and now Elysium on the back foot, but Ratchet and Fire is still trying to deal some damage. They aren't able to get anyone else down. Oh, so close with that True Shot Barrage, but it will not be enough, and that's Akuma winning this fight.
I will assume that's getting thrown to me, but these health bars, well, actually not with lifesteal now, but for a moment there, the health bars were still very low onto the side of Akuma Sabers, with at least a considerable amount of rage from both, or at the very least from Ezreal, or not so much now that Spirit Rush was using that last fight. But it was one of those things I was definitely holding my breath for. It's like, I don't necessarily want to see this get thrown over back to the colored chest yet, but as it's calmed down now, Rift Herald going to be summoned into the mid lane. Ratchet going to kind of just drive it down. Probably going to be okay. Will actually have to commit that Spirit Rush to prevent himself from being locked down. I've turned himself to my play-by-play. Take it away, Moose.
Magnetstorm's gonna land in on to Ratchet. Ratchet 1 HP. Heal from Koyeja, gonna be able to keep him alive a little bit longer. But Mui gonna be on a killing spree. 40 little feet, gonna be able to take nothing with them. And 2 kills for Akuma Sabers. Everyone on that side alive. And now an opportunity for them to push even further forward. Fire gonna get hit by that piercing arrow. 3 members of Elysium going to try to defend this inner turret. I don't think they can. They won't be able to. And another structure is going to go down in favor of Akuma Sabers. That is a very positive play for the blue side here in this game.
Yeah. Once again, it was fairly sudden. Honestly, blink and you'll miss it. And I think I might have blinked at the wrong time there, Moose, because my eyes closed for half a second, and then all of a sudden, the fight was over. I did blink, and I did miss it. So, that's not the ideal situation to be in as the color caster. We do move on though. That being said, it was a massive fight, but they're now on the board. They won't really have the damage to be able to take it, but so really, what I'm waiting for going to be that next Kimtech Soul. Kimtech Soul. What am I talking about? Words are hard, Next Kimtech Drake for the Soul. Soul Point. These are words I've said a million times before, Moose, and yet I still can't seem to get them right.
No worries, no worries. But like you were alluding to, minute 10 remaining until potentially Chemtech Soul Point for Elysian Dawn. They have lost the slight gold lead that they had, and now are a little bit under 2k behind in gold. It's negligible moving into this team fight. And now Elysian's got an option. They can either decide to go for the Baron and pick that up and potentially try to get all of this standing gold back into their hands, or do they go for the fight at Dragon Pit, go for the Dragon Soul, and potentially give themselves a big permanent buff moving into the late game? What are your thoughts? What would you do in this situation, Isaac?
In this situation, considering, well, actually, they wouldn't have vision on this of the side of Elysium Dawn, but being the I guess, being able to view everything, if I had having this global knowledge, on the side of Elysium Dawn, I think I just ignore Soul and use it as a way to try to, as something to form pressure around. But if as soon as Akuma Saber sends too many people towards that Drake, I'd say Baron right away. If I am on the side of Elysium Dawn, and well, if you're Akuma Sabers, they have more than enough. They have more enough vision committed to this bottom half of the map where I don't think they should worry too much about it. But I think that's more or less what's currently happening. I don't think Akuma Sabers, I mean not Akuma Sabers, Elysium Dawn will try to make any sort of forced play Baron, as they won't. But they did, like I said, at the very least, I got half of it right, which was just not even try to contest that Drake because of the superior vision control that Akuma Sabers have managed to acquire on this bottom half of the map, and really shows they're allowed to push freely, get that bot lane tier 1, but not at the cost of their own mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, and so I mean overall a positive play for Akuma Sabers. They get the Chemtech Soul basically for free. I mean basically for the cost of a couple of vision wards, and you then are able to force out the teleport from Ivy to stop this inner turret play from Toomey. That is a big play that Akuma Sabers has been able to pick up there. You deny any opportunity for Akuma to go for Baron, and now you're in a great opportunity to go for another play here. The cease and desist is going to go in onto Ivy, who crawls into the wrong part of the jungle. Mui is on a rampage, and Ivy is going to go down, and this is disaster for Akuma. The macro play in the last couple of minutes has not given them any sort of positive results, and Akuma Sabers is starting to take a big advantage here at the 25-minute mark.
2K at 25 minutes. It's definitely not nothing. I just don't know how. I just don't think it's particularly all that great. What I found a bit strange, as you said, with the teleport over from Ivy, but then the fact that they use it to prevent this tower from going down, then Ivy proceeding to be killed in that fight, just means that this top lane tier 2 goes down, it's not only was it extremely reactive, at the end of the day, they don't even get what they had committed that teleport for. So not only do you have no cooldowns anymore, you don't even achieve what you tried to do. And so I think that's really the biggest tragedy of it all, because usually when you see missed plays like that, or at least those are sort of reactive plays, you can say, well, at the very least, they prevent this tower going there, or at the very least, they prevent the enemy from getting something from it, even if their initial cost themselves is higher. They didn't even get that. That is honestly really bad, as Kyle here is in a bit of a strange spot, actually. Well, stuff. I was tempted. Too many times before, I am guilty of this. See control ward, hit control ward. Just as, no matter how dumb it is to hit that control ward. So for a second, I thought we might be in the same realm, but that being said, Ivy.
Okay, Ivy's gonna go into the death realm with Mui, and that is gonna be a power play for Elysium Dawn, and a big power play at that. With Mui dead, this could be an opportunity for them to go for Baron. Toomey does have teleport, and this would be a 5v4 steal attempt from Renku if he is able to get in. But it is actually getting melted relatively quickly here. Charm is going to land in on to Kyle, but that is going to be the Chem Bloom coming in, going to get a little bit of sight on where Baron is at. The Charm is going to miss from Ratchet. Spear Rush has been used. Lot of damage going to come in as Renku's going to come in. Lot of damage from that Magnet Storm, connecting so much power. Rat, who has had 0 kills this entire game, going to pick up a stumble. A great chance of corruption followed from that Magnet Storm, as now Fire is going to try to be able to escape. The stun is going to land. The follow-up stun from Renku is going to come through. The teleport from Mui to finish the job. It's the shutdown from Rat to give them a killing spree. And once again, Akuma makes a positive play, this time at the Baron Pit.
The funny thing is, right before that fight started, I was about to say that while I don't necessarily dislike the build that Rat is going for with the on hit, I was going to say there was probably not much that he could do to contest this fight, but I mean, proved me wrong immediately with that preceding fight afterwards. They found the angle, and not only will they come away with the Baron, I believe they only lost Mui in the process, even though that's a fairly decent shutdown. Going over to the side of I'm stumbling over my own tongue. Slow down. Elysium Dawn. I need to, sometimes you get a bit hyped and then you get ahead of yourself. But Elysium Dawn, I thought for a sec, not for sure, without that availability, that there'd be little that Rat could do there. But yeah, I mean, fair play. Nothing but praise I have for the execution on the side of Akuma Sabers, because really that is completely all on the execution there, 100%.
I mean, nothing but net there. And another great Magnet Storm from Kyle is going to result in them having the Baron buff, and they are in good position to contest this Chemtech Soul once again. A lot of damage going to come in onto the Zen Zhao, who then is forced to use the Devour defensively. Ratchet can use the Spear Rush to try to be able to get away. Furry Little Feet still in trouble. Furry Little Feet is going to go down. Renku will take that one. 2 kills for Akuma Sabers. Make it 3 with Mui. Another long-range snipe onto Ratchet, just continuing the plays. Every single play here for Akuma. Fire will go down. Rampage for Toomey. And that is going to be another 4-for-0 trade in favor of Akuma Sabers. Now they can look to potentially end.
I mean, you were even saying it in the draft, that 5v5, that this composition from Akuma Sabers definitely has the ease of execution on its side. Later goes the more that they group up, and well, that fight just about proves it there. Even though they did have a gold advantage going into it, it wasn't nearly as wide as it might look on the screen right now. And actually, hold on, Mui going low.
Mui is low, but is going to be able to get out. Nice utilization of the fear. Will be able to get out using that flash. Rat is going to be unstoppable now. Started the Baron fight 0-9, and is going to end this game potentially with multiple kills. We'll get a triple to finish the job. 7-0-10 with all of those kills coming at 25 minutes plus. Regardless, Akuma Sabers will take game 1.
Yeah, and for Akuma Sabers, I mean, it felt like the whole game was fairly back and forth. You know that like meme like time graph where it's like it's so over, it's so like it's so over, or we're back, boys, and it's just that roller coaster. It was more or less that until, yeah, at the very end, just really, I'd say 3 decisive fights from the side of Akuma Sabers that really just, like, well, as we can see that the game is ended, well, sometimes you realize you're going to say something and it just sounds so incredibly stupid, because I was going to say that it ended the game, and it's just like, no, of course it ended the game. We're looking at the stats screen right now.
Looking at the in-game screen, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, no, of course the game. Either way, my brain farts aside, clearly a team that didn't have a brain fart was Akuma Sabers with their execution of the last 35 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, shout out goes to Kyle on this rel. I think I give MVP to them. Magnet Storms were on point. The follow-up from Rat was great, and to me, did not make their life difficult. They did not go for any bad explosive casks. They made sure that the damage was connected, and they were able to make those plays happen. Even when Akuma was, I think, in less than advantageous situations, like that 4v5 fight at Baron, they still were able to find a way to make it a positive play for them. And that shows a level of composure, that shows a level of trust that teams in this league should definitely respect. And so, impressive start. I mean, there are some notes, of course. I think that there were some moments that they definitely could have improved on, and Elysium definitely gave them a run for their money. But at the end of the day, I think the mid-game to late-game macro from Akuma far superior to Elysian Dawn, and that is going to give them this Game 1 win. With that being said, though, we're going to take it to a quick break. When we come back, Game number 2 will commence. Will it be an easy night for Akuma, or will Elysian take us to a Game 3? We'll find out. See you guys shortly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Otter Diamond. It's the start of the season, and Akuma Sabers is looking like a team that has already, put in the hours, put in the work to be a cohesive, single-focused, and well-oiled machine. We're going to jump into Game 2 here. Now, unlike other leagues, Isaac, the Blue Water leagues, and specifically in this league, Game 1, for example, since Akuma was on blue side, they are automatically going to be on red moving into Game 2, which guarantees that Elysium is going to be on blue side here for this game. And we are ready and already into the draft. Potentially a switch in Elysium's draft as we do get a missed ban. I think that is the case. Lee Sin. Okay, so I'm going to give this over to you, Isaac. We've got Senna and Lee Sin banned for Elysium so far. Maokai and Thresh going to get banned away from Akuma. Thoughts on Game 1? Thoughts on how the draft should potentially change moving into Game 2?
It's one of those. I think Elysium Dawn might want to look for a different competition. In terms of bans, I didn't see anything I immediately disliked. I think maybe take away Hui if you're on the side of Elysium. I mean, they're not going to elect to do that, at least not immediately, just simply because I don't think it's in the repertoire of Ratchet, if I looked closely enough. I mean, he's played a few games of it, but that being said, Viego going to be the option B1 from Elysium Dawn.
I'm gagged. I'm gooped. I'm gobsmacked. This is season 12? What is this?
It's like on one hand, there's the part of my brain that says, what the hell are you doing? But then there's the other half of my brain that's like, oh, what the hell are you doing? Let's go, right? Let's do this. And so I like on a strictly like, as an, I guess, analytical view, kind of the minimal analysis that I have in this one, the hamster wheel starts spinning. I'm not a fan of Lucian Viego B1, B2. But on the other hand, it'd be really awesome if it works.
Yeah. I think like now you've got to decide whether it's Nami or Milio. Rakan is a choice.
Send it! Yes!
Rakan is a choice. And Rakan is the choice. I'm gobsmacked by Elysium's composition so far, but I'm here for it. I live for the gung-ho initiation that Rakan is going to be able to provide. I think that you have now played your hand a little bit of what you're trying to go for moving into the later parts of this composition, and you're able to be countered. Nautilus, R3 pick, absolutely makes sense. You deny the power of that quickness if you're able to land the dredge line. If you can't do that, you deny the damage with the depth charge. There's no way that Lucian's going to be able to get out of it. Love to see it. Akuma Saber's draft, I think, has been very heads up in this series so far, and I also pairs so well with the Vars. I can't stress enough how well I think Akuma has played this series so far, and they're going to have to continue to keep that going because Elysium almost took Game 1. So we'll have to see what they look like they're going to do here in Game 2. Looking at the bans, Ratchet's Ari is getting hovered. I don't know if that's necessary, but it is going to be hovered, and we'll see if they decide to go with it. Kasante going to be the first ban away from Akuma.
Yeah, if they do eventually go with this, but considering there's no time left. Okay, no, there's actually one. Okay, never mind then. I was about to say, I could kind of see it just as a comfort thing, but no, I do think taking these beefy boys off the table is a fairly decent idea.
Ooh, Gwen R4?
Oh, wait, you're cooking. Hold on. Wait, hold on. I do like that idea. I'm not entirely against it, but in terms of drafts, I think so far, yeah, I would have to say Akuma Sabers definitely much more calculated with it and much more understandable. I'd say right now at the present moment, it's looked like a huge draft gap. But on the other hand, you know how cool it's going to look if Elysium Dawn actually pulls it off? It's going to look so cool, man. So it's like, on one hand, I'm not supposed to take sides, but it would, sometimes the rule of cool, and actually with Poppy going to be the selection of Akuma Sabers, that's actually, that's huge.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, rough. And when you have 3 dashes, or 3 pseudo dash from Viego, but a dash from Rakan and Lucian, Poppy's actually a great heads-up play. You're able to get a lot of utilization out of it. You are then able to give your mid lane, you're able to give Mui counterpick, who played pretty well on the play against Ratchet, and I think that's a solid move. I like it. Darius going to be the response. I'm not upset about that one. I actually do enjoy that because you're going to have the opportunity to do not pick LeBlanc into it. Thank God. Do not pick LeBlanc into Poppy. But Darius is going to be the choice. It should have some early game power. Orianna, potential ball delivery system from Rakan Viego, going to be a little tough because of the Poppy W, but still there, and an opportunity for them to scale up nicely into the mid game. How does Akuma want to play it? Do they want to go for something early, or do they go for something late game? Kassadin, potentially the hover. Katarina?
They're not moving
Yes?
off of it. They don't have a lot of time. It is a hover, but they're surely not, right? Like, oh wait, hold on, they blocked it.
Let's go.
Okay, wait. For a second there, I was going to be like, I think Akuma's draft is there, but like, it's so incredibly boring. I can't support this. However, it's no longer boring with Katarina. Whether that's ideal or not, probably not, if we're being completely honest. But vibes, and this latter half of the draft has been mostly vibes. That being said, one thing that did kind of get looked slightly over because of Katarina pick, like that's obviously going to take like priority of like, whoa, hold on. I do think Darius here at least gives something that Elysium Dawn can play around, especially in this top lane. I mean, unless if you send Nocturne into a solo lane, even then I don't think that feels all that great for Nocturne, and then Poppy jungle. Poppy I would assume probably won't mind struggling here in this top lane, assuming that's where it goes. But it will certainly be a struggle.
Yeah, I am. So the way that I predict these fights turning out, because I mean, Akuma has shown that they have an identity of going for these team fight wombo combo, press R and win style of compositions, and they drafted one that is going to work well here. The way that you counter that is you make it difficult for Akuma to be able to go for that 5v5. And with Elysian deciding to go with that Orianna, you signal, hey, I want to be there in those team fights. I want to be able to get into that backline.
Oh,
Varus has so much protection from the quickness, from the shockwave, that the Nautilus and Poppy are going to be able to provide, followed up with the paranoia from Nocturne. That the concern that I have is that Varus is going to be so safe to just rapid fire from the backline that Elysian is not going to be able to get him down, and then you just fall apart because you have very little in terms of frontline on your end. You are looking to go for those resets, and you are not going to get those resets if you are targeting Poppy or Nautilus. You have to be targeting the Katarina, the Nocturne, or the Varus, but they're going to be slippery or protected themselves. And so that is my concern here, is how does Elysian get those resets so that Viego can pop off, so that Darius can pop off?
Yeah, it's definitely like initial like check of it. It's not looking great for the side of Elysium in terms of like actually being able to get those things. Few things to note. We do have a substitute on the side of Elysium Dawn. We have the name's Contigo Port. I don't remember seeing that on the list on the Master Sheet beforehand, but week 1, we haven't gotten, and also there's a lot of bit of confusion behind the scenes. We accidentally got a Nautilus span out from the side of Akuma Sabers. So
Okay.
It looks like they're just going to reset that Yeah, it looks like
Sure.
they're just going to be going. Okay, it doesn't look like any further action is going to take other than just remaking the draft. All right.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
On one hand, I will be completely honest. There was a lot of nonsense going down inside the client that I was just like, how are we going to handle this? But as it stands, we don't get to see the client on the stream, but I promise you, it is Akuma Sabers Cindy have Nautilus, at least for now, in the top lane, unless they're trading that later. As it stands, this might very well be Nautilus top, which Poppy support into Rakan. I mean, I don't hate it, but unique for sure. I mean, there's times like these where we send it to a break, but I think this is like such a huge moment where we just kind of have to sit and wait in anticipation, Moose. Because
for sure,
because I could definitely see the angle of moving Nautilus to the top lane here on the side of Akuma Sabers, but I've also been debated by picks like these before, where they're just like, we're going to try something different, and it's going to look wild. Not the most wild I've ever seen, but in solution, this might actually be the flex pick that at least I didn't quite see happening. I'm not sure if Moose, if you did, but double dash is in the bottom lane. But we're not going to be playing Mario Kart with this steadfast presence on the Poppy, and we'll give it a few seconds. If you have any words, Moose, I'm going to throw it over to you to say a few things, because I'm staring at this pick in anticipation to see if it gets traded off.
Sure. I mean, some of these players might be cooking. Some of these players might be.
I was traded. God damn it! I was traded.
It was traded.
God.
And you know what?
We have no fun around here.
We have no fun around here.
I was hoping it sounded good. It sounded genuinely like something that you could try to do, because I was like, Poppy into Darius sounds awful, but I mean, Nautilus, not great, but maybe not as much as Poppy. I thought for a second we were actually getting a secret, like, 10,000 IQ flex pick here, but no, it's traded. It's traded.
No fun here in diamond level plays. But what is fun is Coachify.gg. If you guys have not looked at the app, if you guys have not gone on to Coachify.gg, it is the best way for you to rank up your play, your drafts, and your rank in League of Legends. Shout out to them for being a sponsor here of the Blue Otter Diamond League. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and jump into the Dragon Draft. I was correct for the game one. It was a Chemtech Soul. So, Isaac,
you get first pick this time.
You're gonna give me first serve. You're gonna give me first serve. Alrighty.
Well, yeah, that's how tennis games go. You know, the
fair
service
enough.
changes every game. So
fair enough. I will take. I'm gonna take Ocean Soul.
Ocean?
Yeah.
I'm going to stick. I'm going to be stick faithful with Cloud here. And then go Infernal.
Okay. And I am gonna go with the Mountain and the Hextech Soul, which is gonna leave you with the Chemtech.
Yes.
Gonna be fun. Gonna be a fun game regardless of the Dragon Soul. Thank you guys all so much for watching the stream so far. We appreciate your guys' patience as we get through the kinks here in week one. If you guys have not done so already, go ahead and follow the Twitch channel, subscribe to the Twitch channel if you're really enjoying the content, and if you are not in the Blue Water Discord, you are missing out on all of the fun content that Blue Otter has to offer here in this winter 2024 season. Go ahead and join the Discord, do all that fun stuff, and we would appreciate your guys' continued support of the community. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, game number 2 between Elysium Dawn and Akuma Sabers will commence. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Otter Diamond. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. We got Akuma Sabers gonna go for a 5-man death rush over here, Isaac. You might get some excitement. Let's see if they're able to make anything happen with it.
Hopefully. Oh no, Tumi. I mean, they're doing the dance party. I see. It is Poppy, so I don't really know how much they can really bait that into a potential 5-man fight. As they'll all just recall here. So,
Sure.
you know, for a second I thought I might have to call out the disrespect because I mean, setting up the dance party like that. Those are just the rules of the game. You don't just respect the dance party, but yeah, we'll just get back to a standard 5-point start here in the game. Talking points. I was disappointed by no Poppy support, even if Nautilus support is probably better. You know, you can hope for a little bit of fun. But other than that, we've got Katarina, and honestly, I'm trying to remember if I've even casted Katarina just ever.
Just ever?
Just ever in general. Yeah.
Okay, alrighty. Well, I mean, at this point, the idea for Katarina is to, it's kind of like a Kali, right? You want to make it to 6. You want to be able to get your full kit and then go for those plays. It's very difficult to secure the gank kill because you have no CC. You have no way of stopping Ratchet from being able to get out. And so Ratchet trying to bully, utilize the early game range advantage that they have against the melee champion and being able to kind of proxy a little bit of experience, a little bit of that CS away from Mui to start things off. Other than that, though, I mean, I think eyes are on Contigo Poor on this Darius. Plays the Darius, gets the counter pick on the Darius into the Poppy, and needs to, I would argue, needs to be effective in the early game in order to make sure that Elysium Dawn is able to navigate the mid game with somewhat ease. And have a play here. Ratchet potentially in trouble, overstaying their welcome, and that's going to be a little bit of damage going to go in onto this Orianna. They will be able to back away.
Yeah, level 3, okay, never. Level 3 Nocturne, not the most
potent gangster in League of Legends.
Yeah, especially not into mid lane. So, while that angle did look somewhat dangerous, it's more so a champion issue there in terms of actually executing it. But all the while, oh wait.
Got a play gonna come in. Dredgeline's gonna land. Anakoya's just gonna get rooted. Mui is gonna actually go in with the E, and that might put them in trouble. Gonna be forced to dash away. Will get a turret shot onto Ratchet, who utilized Flash in that exchange. And now both of these mid laners playing with fire. Mui has Flash available. Knows that Furry Little Feet is in the area. Play gonna be in the bottom lane. Ratchet in trouble. Ratchet almost gonna go down, and they will take it 1-for-1 first blood. Will go to Akuma Sabers. So much expended for it, though, as it will end up being Flash used by Mui.
Did I see that right in that Mui took the turret shot?
Sure did.
That is, I just needed to confirm, because that seems like such a textbook thing because of the health bars that you let Renku take the turret shot there. Yeah, honestly, just a little bit perplexed on my end, because really, 9 times out of 10 you'd have to feel that that should be 1 for nothing going over to the side of Akuma Sabers, but at the very least, 1-for-1 there. Ratchet. I'm just stunned. There's no CC this early on between Mui and Renku, but apparently their CC doesn't exist in game, but it's out of game because whoa.
Well, it is still first blood. The first blood goes over to Renku. Gonna have a little bit of a nicer buy than Furry Little Feet, who did go for some counter jungling. Recurve bow was unlocked, and actually backs even in CS. Renku waiting to get that team out will be able to pick that one up, and so does ever so slightly win out on the base battle. Contigo Poor with the Ghost and the Flash. With Ghost and Flash, you're signaling that you want to be able to be oppressive and aggressive early on in the game. Good on Toomey for not taking the bait and still having that teleport available. That's going to give them more of an advantage moving into the later stages of this contest.
Yeah, and honestly, that's huge because looking around the map, honestly, I think mainly the only way that way. Hold on.
We got a play going to come in. Renku's going to take a lot of damage. He's going to be in trouble. No Flash available. And Fire will take that kill. The reset for Furry Little Feet could potentially look to go for a Fear against Rat or Kyle. Will not be able to do so. Meanwhile, going to be Keeper's Verdict used by Toomey. Contigo Poor utilizing Ghost, but gets nothing other than the ultimate out of it.
Yeah, certainly not ideal. However, I think with the amount of pressure that Contigo Poor should have, and without the pop ult going to be available for Toomey in this 1v1, I still think he's feeling relatively okay. It's not quite the panic button. However, with Contigo Poor, well, they might have proven me wrong with that fight in the bottom lane, but up until this point, I feel like he has to be the focus of the side of Akuma Sabers. Speaking of,
Contigo Poor does have Ghost or Flash available to me. Now going to try to go in. Contigo Poor is in trouble. Renku going to go for another gank. 3-6. That is their third gank of the game before having Paranoia. This one does not net him an assist. As Toomey's going to come in, Furry Little Feet potentially going to be in trouble. Steadfast Presence utilized to get Furry Little Feet actually into a decent position. And now Toomey in trouble. Going to go for the dash. Going to have 1 HP and will go down. Oh, Furry Little Feet survives with 1 HP. And Elysium Dawn will be happy with that exchange.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a bit surprised that it went as well as it did for the side of Elysium Dawn, but fair play. That's just about exactly. Hold on. Kyle getting a little bit aggressive there. Ah, okay. Never mind. Being said, I mean, actually, as the camera zooms all over the map, there he goes, the grips. I don't believe that there's going to be very much that can be done by Mui to really contest here. But, yeah, as I'm getting proven quite wrong with the assessment that Contigo Poor will have to be the focus, considering how this game is played out. But still, I think he has to have at least some sort of kill pressure in the side lane, and as hold on, brain Toomey. Thank you, gosh, as Toomey starts getting more of these more defensive items on board, I think any sort of pressure that might be generated by this Darius will soon be lost. And I think without that pressure, any sort of fight as this game comes on just gets more difficult for the side of Elysium Dawn. So despite how well they've done it, in fairness, they have done quite well here in the first 9 minutes of this game. I'd hope to see at least a little bit more out of this top side, because even if the rest of the map's gone pretty well for them, how do they convert the rest of the map into any sort of genuine way to win?
Yeah. I mean, but you have to give credit to Toomey, though. I think that Toomey is playing this top side very well, is not getting baited into fights that he knows that he can't win or that they can't win, is able to be fairly competitive in terms of CS against the Darius. And that's, I think, the big win here for Akuma Sabers. But laning phase is not over yet, and there is still plenty of game to be played and an opportunity for Contigo Poor to get that big Noxian Guillotine reset. The damage that you're able to put in along with that Heartbreaker is definitely going to be something that they will look forward to coming into those team fight phases. Another shout out, though, I've got to shout out Mui on this Katarina. Only behind a wave in CS in the melee versus ranged matchup. Very impressive stuff. Is able to be relatively competitive in terms of damage right now, and I think actually exceeds the damage that Ratchet has because Ratchet decided to go with the Tear of the Goddess first. So a little bit of leveraging against the early game that Ratchet could have had to try to be a little bit more damaging in the mid to late game, allowing for Mooney to be able to get that CS and maybe come online a little bit faster than they would have been able to. Despite that, though, first dragon taken by Elysian Dawn. Second dragon going to come up in a minute 10. That'll be that Mountain Drake. coming up.
So, on the guesses for Ocean, the Soul. Hello, the Soul draft that we've done. I mean, now I'm probably going to curse this now that I've said this, but I mean, technically my odds are looking kind of great in this regard. That being said, we've got okay, hold on.
There's the paranoia from Renku, and that is what you need when you play the Nocturne. That's going to be the first paranoia kill for Akuma Sabers at level 7. However, with Contigo Port dead, that's going to delay this Darius. That's going to shut down this Darius even more on this top side of the rift. We see Mui potentially in trouble here. Kyle is in the area, and now that's going to be the initiation. Going to get a lot of damage on a Ratchet. Not going to force the flash, however. Will be able to get out.
Yeah, Mui's health bar is was a bit low there. I think really the only way they fight. I mean, I do like the idea. If that dredge line does land, you combo the CC, and then I'd say they probably would have had enough damage. It would have been close to secure the kill on Sir Ratchet. But it was definitely contingent on that. And honestly, it's one of those moments that when you're watching, it's just like, I hope this doesn't backfire super hard on Mui, because his health bar was so extremely low there. The amount of times that I've seen where it's just a slight mistiming, where you see the idea of like where it's coming from, which is Kyle moving into the mid lane, you know, get that CC, but then somebody just doesn't account for the current health bar, and then they die before that play can even happen, and then it just feels really bad. But obviously we don't quite experience that on this end so far. But yeah, no, going back up to Contigo Port, I mean, he still has a slight CS lead. So, I mean, but at this point, 13 minutes, or not quite 13 minutes in, but almost 13 minutes in, I don't know, it's not looking great for this Darius, at least not right now. I mean, sure, I think really the only way he gets back into this is like just one massive fight where he can score something. That being said, Mui.
Oh, Mui is in trouble. Exhaust gonna get used, gonna force the flash away. Does get out of that. Oh my god. I cannot believe it. Gumi in the right place, right time. As the Void Grubs are gonna get taken. Rat is in trouble. Chains of Corruption. Oh my god. Rat is going to make it a 1-for-1 play, as now Tuba is gonna teleport in. Fire and Koyesh potentially in trouble here with Kyle coming in. Toomey gonna be able to avoid the culling. Toomey is gonna be taking a lot of damage. Gonna be brought back in. Toomey is unstoppable. Oh my god, a complete outplay from both Rat and Toomey are gonna make that play go way in Akuma Saber's favor.
Yeah, for a second there with Toomey's positioning, I thought it was going to be, it might have not thought it was going to be, but considered the possibility of it being the example of the story that I said, that they had clearly had a play in mind, but you just get a little bit too jumpy on a low health bar. But you know, fair play. They waited just the right amount of time, and with that amount of CC and the lack of damage that currently Fire and Koyesh do into these two really big beefy champions that don't take much. As soon as that culling was unavailable and all the CC'd come through, yeah, that's really all they needed to find that kill in top lane. That being said, Mui, don't know if he knows if Furry Little Feet's here.
Paranoia gonna pop, and now potentially in trouble. A Death Lotus gonna come in, a lot of damage on to Contigo Port, who's gonna be forced to flash away. Furry Little Feet, Heartbreaker in on to Renku. That's 2 resets for Furry Little Feet, and Toomey unable to get any kills, any follow-up. That is 2 kills for Elysium Dawn, and then go straight to the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just maybe even a little bit tragic on the side of Akuma Sabers with how low some of those health bars were. But actually, wait, hold on. I don't think this is over. Toomey's still pressured. On one hand, it's this positioning that always troubles me as a caster, because like, do you send it over to your co-caster or not? Because it's like when you get a bunch of kids talking mad nonsense about each other on the playground, saying that they'll fight, and then they just don't. And then now here we are, that slightly underwhelmed, but understandably so. There's maybe not the most well-advised fight. See, Moose, you must have understand one thing. The optimal play, even though might be the right call, it's not always the fun call. And I'm always for the fun call.
You know, fun is what you do in the playground, but unfortunately, class is back in session, and Elysium Dawn schooling Akuma Blades for their overconfidence, and that's going to give Akuma a little bit of pause here moving into this next fight. 2 dragons already get taken by Elysian. We do get to play potentially bottom side as the dredge line did land, but it will not be enough for the depth charge to be committed. Very little feet gonna get hit by the dredge line, and now depth charge gonna be available. Change corruption can land. This is a 3v3. Quickness expended. Culling not available, and Furry Little Feet will have to use Flash and Heartbreaker to get out of that fight as we go bottom side. This top side play gonna be the Noxing Guillotine, and Contigo Boar is gonna be at 1 HP. And so a lot of ultimates used, a lot of summoner spells used, but no one goes down.
And I think there in the top lane, even though they did have that really good fight there were earlier, I think the struggles of the early game for Contigo Poor really just shone through there, not really finding any sort of lethal damage onto the side of Toomey despite committing everything for it. And I feel like as this game goes on, the harder and harder it becomes for Contigo Poor to really find those Noxing Guillotines that is going to need to really start to accelerate this game. And at 17 minutes, it's a bit rough. I think at the very least, my initial, I guess, assessment that it'd be nearly impossible for the rest of Elysium Dawn to do anything outside of that has clearly been proven wrong, at least so far. So, you know, there is the rest of that going there for them. Wait, hold on, Fire.
Oh, no, Fire in trouble, and the calling,
Yeah.
rough. Lens was used, and the calling was used.
Yeah, not only was the calling used, it was used at nobody. Toomey, though.
Toomey gonna go in, the Paranoid's gonna drop, and it's gonna go right onto Fire. Fire gonna be able to use gonna be able to use the dash to be able to get away, and gets out Mooey. And that's gonna make it a 0 for 1 so far, but Rat is gonna be able to take out Furry Little Feet. The quickness from Koyash, gonna be able to take out Renku. Koyash unable to get the stun onto Rat, but will be able to get them knocked up. That's a double kill for Ratchet. Kyle is next, and that's gonna be Fire picking up their 4th kill of the game. And that was a good team fight for Elysian Dawn.
Hey, clearly my assessment of how just the struggles that I expected Elysium Dawn to have in these fights clearly misplaced, because I mean they played these team fights just about perfectly despite all that, and you know they'll pick up the 3rd Drake. And speaking of the Drake lotteries, we get another Kim Tech Drake, and since you picked first this time around, I mean, you know, there it is, 1 for 1.
Yeah,
and with how this game is going, at least right now, we might even get to settle this tie that we have on maps for the Drake so far. So that obviously that's clearly the most important thing in this series, right? Like,
I mean, it is. I mean, it is to me. I like to know that I have the I like to know that my finger is on the pulse of what the League of Legends client wants to do in terms of souls, but I'm still, regardless, fun game, competitive game, that Elysian Dawn currently has the advantage over Fire. 2 items completed now. The Zavori Quick Blade's going to come in very nicely at a great time here in the contest. The teleport from Toomey, not used in that last engage, so potentially an opportunity for them to go for some split lane pushing as the Baron spawns in 48 seconds. I don't think that there's an opportunity for Elysian to go for a play at Baron immediately. However, this is going to potentially be Furry Little Feet in trouble. Will be forced to use a Heartbreaker to get away from Renko's paranoia, so a good utilization of that. Hex Flash from Kyle, not going to land any sort of depth charge or dredge line, so just some ultimates and some abilities used. Looking cool, looking flashy.
I think no paranoia for Renku might be a... See, I say that, but then also, I don't think it's been, as we've seen these fights play out, it hasn't exactly been the biggest hindrance for the side of Elysium Dawn. They managed to play through that just blindness down to a T, so even though in my head, like, logically, I would think it'd be a lot more important than it has been, but, you know, results-based analysis... Oh, wait, hold on.
Mooey, oh, Mooey! That's a pick for Ratchet, who's now on a rampage.
Yeah, I don't know. clearly the Rift Herald had just been summoned topside, and both the champions had moved off it. So, I mean, I guess they. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, great quickness from Koyesh. Kyle's in trouble. Fire gets a full utilization of that calling, and that's going to be enough to give them 2. However, Roinku's going to be able to be there to make it a 2-for-1 in that exchange. However, across the rift with Mui's death, it is a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of Elysian Dawn. Tumi could potentially get dove here from Fire and Koyesh. They're going to try to take out this this tower, but they're actually going to be now put in a lot of damage onto Fire. Going to utilize the flash, the knockup from Koyesh, the Death Lotus from Mui to get the double kill. This time they have enough health to take the turret shots, and that's going to be much needed for this Katarina.
Yeah, I mean, other than maybe Rat, that's just about the perfect target you'd want that shutdown to go on to. So, I mean, at the very least in these side lanes, it was slightly mentioned and obvious and understandably overshadowed by that fight. At the very least, these towers have been going over to the side of Elysium Dawn. And so now with that mid lane tier 1 going down and without having any towers of themselves, Akuma Sabers, they're going to have a ton of time just moving onto the map at this point.
Navigating it, yeah.
Yeah. I think it just becomes that much harder. And I mean, even earlier when we saw Mui just walk into that bush, honestly, it was not the best decision making from Mui, because when you see the champions leave like that, there's always, you want to play for all possible outcomes no matter what it is, and clearly Mui didn't quite notice that, but it's also indicative. Hold on.
Tumi gonna go in, but is fairly tanky. Will utilize Keeper's Verdict, but will cancel the ult. Katarina is topside and used teleport, so they will not be available for any sort of fight. But with the objective bounties up and so much gold on the table, Katarina and Mui will be able to get that objective bounty and some gold into Akuma Saber's pockets. 26 seconds remaining until the Chemtech Soul spawns for Elysian Dawn to potentially pick up. An opportunity for Mui to get there in time, but it's going to be river control and it's going to be mid lane control for Elysian Dawn. Akuma Sabers are going to have a tougher time than they did in game 1 to pick up this Drake.
Yeah, and with that in mind, not only that, we're on soul point, and if it takes that,
Okay, Parado's gonna get dropped. Quickness is gonna land onto Rat, who does still have flash available, will be able to use it. Gold's gonna be coming up in just a second, but they are able to get into the backline safe and sound. Contigo Pour gonna try to come through, but Mui's gonna be able to use the Shumpo to be able to get out. Apprehension gonna land. Shockwave onto 3. Ratchet will pick up 1 and become unstoppable. Tumi is next. The resets are there, and it's huge for Elysian Dawn. Rat and Mui are still alive, though. It is a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Elysian Dawn.
And that right there, kids, is why we don't see a lot of Katarina, and why this is my first game casting her, because Mui, I guess he stayed alive, but he walked right into the middle of the fight, lost all his health, or at least almost all his health, and then just had to walk right back out. And it's not necessarily indicative of Mui's skill as a player, more so that just like, what else do you do on Katarina in that moment? And it was pain. It was pain, and now the Chemtech Soul goes over to the side of Elysium Dawn, and just that little bit, those few extra stats, always going to feel nice. And like I said, clearly my first assessment of how impactful that nearsightedness from the paranoia was going to be, clearly not as important as I thought it was, because, well, Elysium Dawn is, just seen right through it, really.
For sure. And now Baron is up for grabs for Elysian. This is what they wanted to do in game 1. And now an opportunity for them to potentially go for Baron. This is a play that Akuma Sabers needs to stop, as the teleport is going to come in from Tumi. Baron's going to be at half HP, will deleash as Paranoia is going to drop. Mu is going to try to come in, is going to be hit by the calling, going to be hit with so much damage. We'll get a little bit of damage with the Lotus, but the Shockwave is going to be massive once again from Ratchet. That's now going to be 3 kills, make it 4, make it the ace for Elysian Dawn. They get absolutely everything and they're gonna get Baron as well. Disaster for Akuma Sabers.
Yeah, that's about how I describe it. 5-0 and Baron and previously the Soul. I mean, the game isn't over until the Nexus goes, but I think this is about as close as you get to the game being over without that condition being met at this point. I'd find it very difficult for Akuma Sabers to really find any way back into this one other than a just total misplay on the side of Elysium Dawn.
Yeah, and I mean, just Ratchet, I would say redemption from their game one performance on that Ari. The shockwaves have connected, and sometimes they've connected without even having a ball delivery system. Very Little Feet and Koyesh have been doing their own things, trying to keep their backline protected, trying to be able to get into the backline themselves. They've been effective at doing that, and Ratchet has been able to connect so many impactful shockwaves in this contest that has been very difficult for them to fault. And now Mui potentially in trouble, will have the bleed, will make it a 1-for-1. But that is a shutdown for Renku on this Nocturne. However, gonna now potentially be a play for Elysian Dawn to clean up. Fire will take out Kyle. Ratchet will take out Rats. And that's just going to be probably GG. We'll go to game 3.
I mean, more than likely, I don't know what you do here as a singular Poppy, if I'm being completely honest, in this 4v1. Baroned up minions. I mean, Lucian's going to go, but does that really matter at this point? I mean, the best we can do is just look at the death timers and hopefully they go down faster than what the time actually shows. Because, yeah, not great. Not great for the side of Akuma Sabers as it is right now.
No, not at all. I mean, every fight going into Elysian Dawn's favor, Barons, picks, kill percentages, kill damage. It's almost, I would say, it would be a miracle. It would be miraculous for Akuma Sabers to be able to take this game back with the amount of damage and the amount of power that Ratchet has on this Orianna. I mean, I would say arguably carrying this game along with Furry Little Feet. I mean, I think overall Elysian Dawn doing well, but Ratchet being able to be so impactful with all the magic damage that they provide. If you look at the totality of Akuma Sabers, there is zero, and I mean zero, magic resistance. Where's the magic resistance on Poppy? There's the only magic resistance that I see is the locket from Kyle. And so those shockwaves are dealing 800, 900 damage with that Rabadon's death cap. And so I don't foresee an ending where Akuma Sabers is able to come back on this one unless you're able to get Ratchet out of the fight. If you do that, maybe you have a fighting chance. But for now, Elysian Dawn looking to march towards their victory here in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a general sense of inevitability, at least here on the cast, and I'd have to imagine in-game, because, oh, well.
Going to initiate the fight in. The charm is going to land from Koyesh. The quickness is big. Fire stays protected. Ratchet stays protected. And that's a double kill for Fire. 3 members of Akuma Sabers still alive. They will get one, but it's only the Rakan whose job was done. That is the ace. It goes to Ratchet, and we go to game 3.
Yeah, well, as I was saying, it was probably in game feeling almost hopeless, and well, that certainly was a play that you would make, and understandably so on the side of Akuma Sabers when you're just so far behind and you have to just find anything, and well, like I said, I gotta respect it from the side of Akuma Sabers to, you know, maybe find a Hail Mary back into this game, but clearly did not work. And honestly, at that point, I don't even think that it comes down to execute. It just comes down to wallets then. And it's just like, yeah, well, about what we expected for this last few minutes. But with that, 1-1 going into game 3.
Yeah, a complete about face for both of these teams. Mui's Katarina, 2-7-3, not a threat in this contest, unfortunately. And I mean, does deal us a decent amount of damage, but it just was not able to pop off. And when you go for that R5 mid lane pick, you want it to pop off. To me, I think playing as well as they could on this Poppy top side was able to really stop Contigo Poor from being super effective. But the power of Fire and Ratchet was enough for them to be able to win this series, or enough for Elysian Dawn to be able to win this series. Before we take it to a
This
quick break,
game.
I want to.
They won this game.
They did win this game, and we're moving into game 3 here in just a moment.
Oh, sorry. You said series.
Yeah, fair. We're going to jump into game 3 of this series in just a moment. Before we do, shout out to Blue Water 2. Thank you for the raid. This is a contest here for week 1 of Blue Water Diamond. We'll be right back, folks. Welcome back, everybody, here to Blue Otter Diamond. We've got ourselves a game moving into the third one, and this is going to be a fun series and a fun way to end week 1 here at Diamond. And we're going to start to see the bands coming out, adaptations from both teams. Viego, Oriana, both going to get taken away from Elysium. Ratchet not going to have that Oriana played so impactfully. Varus, who has been a priority pickup for Akuma in both games, is going to be banned away from Elysium Dawn here in Game 3. And that signals to me, big changes on how both these compositions are going to be played out.
Yeah, for sure. I do like the change up from Akuma Sabers on their bans, simply just because of how different the compositions were from Game 1 and 2. It's something that I didn't... Ooh, Kog'Maw? No way, surely not. I mean, Senna being the selection for the side of Akuma Sabers. First time that it's available this series, actually. And it's a champion that I know Rat does play a lot, so maybe we got... Actually, no, wait. Double support item is not really a thing anymore, is it?
Not really. Really. I mean, you could still go a fasting Senna here, but with the Blitzcrank getting locked in, I doubt that to be the case. But Blitzcrank is not locked in yet. Let's see if they do decide to go with it. Nautilus is still on the table. On the other hand, we got some artillery. The Kog'Maw does get locked in. The Thresh is going to get locked in as well. I mean, has been scrubbing the bottom of the barrel in terms of tier pick in Season 14. This is going to be the first time that I'm going to be seeing him here in, like I said, in the Winter 2024 split in all of the leagues that I've casted. So I'm curious to see how it does work. Blitzcrank, however, I'm excited to see if they're going to be able to make this happen. Big go button with that rocket grab. We'll see if they are able to make it work.
Yeah, going back to the Thresh, though, even though it's not exactly popular right now, and honestly, understandably so, with Kog'Maw as the pick, I definitely don't mind it all too much. And not only that, it is very much a comfort pick for Koyesh, something that even despite Thresh's lack of popularity currently in the meta, he's still certainly a fan of going for. That being said, Vi going to be the selection for the side of Akuma Sabers, something that we saw work out fairly well for them in the first game. But with honestly a very large shakeup again in composition from Elysium Dawn, really showing that at the very least they're willing to play whatever they think works, regardless of really what they've done in the past. So at least that's at least respectable in that regard, at least in my opinion.
Fair enough. Risen Esports, thank you guys so much for the raid. You guys are jumping into a Game 3 between Akuma Sabers and Elysium Dawn. It's been a fun series so far. Our 3 pick going to be the Wukong. Did get a substantial buff here in 14.5 with their stack count getting reduced, but giving the same amount of stats and defense. So Wukong, I think, back on the pickup line here and can have the opportunity to disrupt a lot of what Akuma's trying to go for. That clone could potentially deny the Vi Cease and Desist as well as Blitzcrank Rocket Grab if it's able to be used in a heads-up play. Bans coming out, though, here at the start of the second phase. Hwei and Nico going to get taken away from Akuma. The Darius and the Ahri going to get taken away from Elysian. And Ratchet is going to go with the Lissandra. Going to be the Lissandra coming in for the Elysian Dawn side. Another composition here in this series where a lot of wombo combo power.
Yeah, and honestly, that's not exactly something we've seen out of Elysium Dawn, at least not too much. We saw a bit of it in the last game, and a bit surprisingly so, even at that. That being said, Silas, I do actually rate this pick, assuming that it does go into the mid lane, which I think it would be into Lissandra. There's a lot of really good ultimates that Silas can take care. I mean, just Lissandra and Wukong alone right there. He's definitely going to be feeling good. And Rumble going to be, I'm assuming, the blindsided top laner, which... yeah. That's my thoughts on it.
I wouldn't say that I'm gagged. I wouldn't say that, but I am definitely thrown for a curveball here. Silas is another one of those champions that has had very little priority in Season 14, but you've got 3 great ultimates in the Wukong and the Thresh and the Lissandra to be able to hijack, so love to see that. Urgot, the pickup. I
Ooh.
live. I love this. I love this game. I love this game for so many different reasons. All of the champions that I love are playing in it, and we get an Urgot. Like, what more? What more could you want?
Poppy support. No, I'm not going to go back.
Poppy support.
We're not going to go back to that. That's fine. Just this once. No, but no. Yeah, definitely a very all of a sudden, what was at first looked like a kind of, I don't want to say boring draft, but definitely not the most exciting draft you'll ever see through the first round of picks. All of a sudden, just got flipped on its head into just. Oh, this is, yeah. I've also had fun. Urgot, not been popular in a very long time, but honestly, into Rumble, I don't know how that matchup goes necessarily. But I like theoretically, just like trying to play it out in my head, I can see what they're going with this Urgot bid. Whether or not it comes through, if you can land with how heavily heavy the side of Akuma Sabers are.
Sure.
That you can, and then the amount of like kind of return damage that they'll have within the short range between Kog'Maw, Wukong, Lissandra, they can definitely kind of stop that immediate engage. If you get that fear off, Urgot can start to just like, if they all stay in that really short kind of optimal range at Urgot, kind of just at an arm's length, not any closer, not any further. If you just keep them there, which this composition certainly can do, I think they've got something with it. I'm not exactly the most enthusiastic in terms of Urgot as a working pick. I am exactly enthusiastic as a pick, as a fun pick, for sure. But I can see what they're trying to do here on Elysium Dawn. It's maybe not the best, but I do respect it. I do see their angle.
Because the Silas was picked up, I had to look at the patch notes because I thought that there was a buff to Rocket Belt, which is something that Silas I think needs in order to be viable. And with that buff, it might actually give viability to the Silas more than what they've had in earlier parts of the season. Kog'Maw also getting some changes, being a little bit more easier to pilot. So, and like I said, the Wukong buffs earlier as well. So, both of these teams, I think, capitalizing on some of the changes that were available, and so with the changes now put in and the opportunities for different builds to come out, I'm not as surprised as I was when I first saw the Silas picked up, but it does not change the fact that Akuma has once again, for the third time in this series, built a sort of wombo combo teamfight composition, and for the first time in this series, Elysium has drafted a composition that can do a lot of the same things. It's not the same type of initiation, but it is still there. And the X factor for me is going to be the Dark Light, right? Like, how effective are they going to be in the side lanes, being able to push that out? Are they going to be able to get an inner turret against the Rumble? Are they going to be able to land that Fear Beyond Death so that you're able to get that big play with it? If so, Elysian Dawn can win this game and take this series. If not, Akuma Sabers can potentially just run away with this one in the early game, especially if you're able to land those super impactful rocket grabs from the Blitzcrank. It could be a very, very different matchup depending on how a lot of those factors play out. With that being said, Isaac, it was a Chemtech Soul in game 2. I guess it goes back to you to start off the Dragon Draft.
See, the question is, does Chemtech Soul pop up again? And do I go with what I think might happen, or do I think what I want to see happen? Right? These are the questions. And so I think I'm stuck because I've been faithful to Cloud Soul every time. So far.
And if you don't take it, I'm taking it.
I gotta go Cloud Soul. I gotta stick with it. I put my trust in Cloud Soul both these times. I'm not as big on it this time around because, especially on side of Elysium Dawn, not as many fun Cloud Soul ultimates you got there. Uh, yeah, but I gotta stick with the one in True Cloud Soul.
Let's go. I'm gonna go with Ocean. I'm sorry, with Infernal and a Mountain for my 2
Infernal
picks.
and Mountain. Ocean Kimtech.
Ocean, you're gonna go with the
I'm going
Chemtech
to leave,
Soul.
I'm going to leave Hextech open. I won't be see. Here's the 10,000 IQ strats that are going through my brain on the obviously highly important Dragon Draft. These strats in my head, I'm running the numbers. Because if I lose and it is Hextech Soul, I still win because we get Hextech Soul, and it's like, okay, well, we got something fun. But if it isn't, I still win because I take the series on Dragon Draft. So that's the thought process there of taking Kimtech over Hextech this time around.
Love it, love it. Really quick, before we take it to a quick break, in one word, who in draft, who do you think won this series, or in this game?
Coachify, because they're sponsoring this stream, but that's how you
I hate that. I hate that. I'm done. We're gonna go to a break, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Otter Season 11, game number 3 here in the Diamond League. We got Moose, we got Isaac, we got Wookie Monster, we got a 5-man death brush from Akuma. Sabers once again. Let's see if they'll get anything out of it.
I do kind of like this sort of pathing from Kyle, though. Maybe try to bait Contigo for standing too far forward, but he won't fall for it.
No, won't fall for it. I don't know if Kyle was seen. Regardless of that, no response in terms of warding from Fire or Koyesh onto the red buff is feeling good. Do get to see that ward on the red buff of Elysium Dawn, so they will know what side Furry Little Feet started on. And, I mean, overall, I think a neutral exchange for both teams. But, Isaac.
Yeah.
What has been your thoughts on this series so far? The start of this season here for Blue Otter.
No Poppy support. I thought I wouldn't bring it back, but the opportunity arises. But no, overall, I think it's been a fairly entertaining start. What I do? Oh wait, hold on. Consigo Port level 1, going for it.
Yeah, Toomey in trouble on this rumble. Toomey is very much in trouble. Oh boy, Toomey's gonna be forced to flash away from Contigo Port, and that is best case scenario for the Elysian Dawn top laner.
Yeah, because not only that, something that in these early few moments got a little bit looked over is that Toomey doesn't have teleport. Toomey has the flash and well, neither does Contigo Port at this moment.
Oh my god.
But either way, speaking of the summoner spells, having used that flash early and, well, what we now know is a trade, at that moment definitely was looking like a massive advantage, because Toomey being on such a low amount of health, not being able to just teleport back. So it's going to just see him living dangerously. That being said, Renku is here for the gank.
Yeah, Contigo Port now going to be in trouble. Does not land the knock-up, and that will seal their fate. First blood. Ignite gonna have to get used by Toomey, and will end up being taken by Toomey on this rumble.
Hold on, though. Was Furry Little Feet spotted?
I don't know.
We're still living dangerously. It's not quite over just yet, I don't think. And actually, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, Renku does have flash available, but it's not going to be mattering. Will end up going down. Will use their flash to no avail. Furry Little Feet will have to use theirs in response. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 in the top lane. That being said, shout out to Aegis Esports with their raid. Thank you guys so much for stopping by as you get to watch the incredible ending to this series.
Yeah, but you're talking about the flash with Furry Little Feet. It was definitely used proactively to prevent Renku from getting away there. And so really, I mean, worth is what I say as a result. I mean, like, really. Just the that's when you hit them and they all... Actually, that's not one where you hit them and they all chat with worth. Not quite. But still, very patient and very mechanically adept, or at least as much as you can be on Vi. You know, not the most... Wait. Brain turned off? Hello? On Wukong. I knew that. Against the Vi. But still, my point still stands. Maybe not the most mechanically adept champion, but still... The patience, the awareness to secure that kill was certainly there, and certainly active in a very effective way.
Continues to keep this series interesting, and that's kind of what I love about Diamond players. You get interesting picks, you get interesting plays that always work out, but you know what? I appreciate and I love their confidence. Let's see if maybe Elysian Dawn's overconfidence will result in them giving a couple of kills over in the bottom lane. Doesn't look to be the case. They will back off. At the moment, an even game. Fairly even in terms of gold, in terms of CS. The only advantage is going to be towards Elysian Dawn's jungle and topside. It's a 3-cap advantage for Furry Little Feet on this Wukong. Farming up a storm here to start off this game. A 2-wave advantage for CS on Contigo Port, given the first blood going over to me. Okay. Okay, Fire with no cleanse is gonna have to use Flash in order to get away from Kyle and Rat. Will also use Ghost. Oh boy, that was a little bit over expenditure of summoner spells there.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just a miscommunication or just unfamiliarity with this duo in the bottom lane, but as soon as the hook landed, Koyash had already thrown the lantern, which was a bit strange, but then also started walking forward, which then, I mean, if you want to get Fire out of there, walking towards, I could get wide, at least exert some pressure onto the enemy bottom lane, but it just seems a little bit confused from them, at least in that one exchange. However, while that was going down, at the very least, these lanes started pushing back towards the side of Elysium Dawn, which did give Renku enough time to secure this first Drake for the side of hold on, I'm choking on my own spit here. Over to the side of Akuma Sabers. So being said, level 6 with the mid lane, got a little bit of a tussle. They didn't make it last long enough for me to send it to you, Moose.
No worries, no worries. A little bit of a tussle, but Mui deciding not to pop the trigger on that Frozen Tomb. A good stop of the Glacial Path from Ratchet with the use of the Abscond. So, I mean, mechanically, good play there. But is going for all the marbles here, Isaac. In their back. Went for Boots, went for Dark Seal. So, Mui once again, trying to show that they've got the prowess to make something happen here and to make a play. Kyle, not going to be seen because they're on a controller, but Koyesh is there to stop Rad from being in trouble. We'll be able to get that controller down, and that's going to be a lot of time taken out as Mui will utilize the Frozen Tomb to be able to get some healing back on their end. Not going to be a play for Akuma Blades to pick up a kill, however.
I have to feel that was probably more so of a timing thing. I mean, surely it had to be.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So, and honestly, not that bad of, considering the time, not that bad of a utilization from it, getting that extra health, and did kind of allow him to move a little bit forward. That being said, we just might have a bit of an exchange here at the Grubs.
Yeah, Furry Little Feet going to take one Void Grub, but that is going to be Cyclone used. Toomey in trouble. Frozen Tomb from Ratchet, and the Fear Beyond Death, Contigo Poor will get the kill secure.
On one hand, yeah, kill secure. On the other hand, if there is a person that you do want to go on between the three of them, Contigo Poor is certainly that person, and as you see that lead in the top lane, picking up that extra kill, going to make that CS lead going to feel even bigger as soon as he gets that gold into his inventory there, spent as items. So, yeah, it looks a bit silly. It's like, haha, yeah, killed secure. But no, I definitely see the reasoning behind it, but we do have a fight here in the bottom lane.
And assist on a Fire. There's the Dawning Shadow. Oh, what a death sentence from Koyesh to make it a 1-for-1. We got the teleport coming in from Ratchet. They're going to try to pick something else up over here, but unable to do so. Ratchet has 0 mana, so not going to be able to get any further objectives or any further kills, as both Rat and Renku are going to be able to push out this lane fine. And Akuma, I would argue, because of the teleport utilization, went out in that exchange.
Yeah, for sure. It's I wouldn't say it's, I was about to say minor, but that's not true because the teleports become universal in just a few seconds here, and as Mui, having used that earlier, at least much earlier, should be able to have that as soon as they do unleash, and having that freedom of the map that Ratchet now won't have in that moment. Obviously it is based on execution, whether or not just how decisive that will be. That being said, speaking of decisive,
yeah, Abscon's going to land the Fear Beyond Death from Mui. Does not, but it doesn't matter. Mui is just so sticky. Gonna go for the Rod of Ages build to start off, and will be a little bit closer to securing that one, as they will pick up Contigo Poor. Flash was used. Rocket Grab from Kyle does not connect, however. But I think you're happy with Akuma Sabers and Mui's performance to start off this game.
Yeah, honestly, just about as perfect as you would hope. And as I was saying earlier, without a few of these teleports available, not only is he looking good after that play, he's looking good for probably the next one as well, if not the next two or so. Just the extra advantage now that neither Ratchet nor Cortigo Poor have the ability to just appear anywhere on the map that they feel like. Numbers advantage for the Dex should hopefully be huge. That being said,
Oh my god, the Wombo combo will catch out Renku. That is Frozen Tomb and Cyclone being big effectiveness. Koyash is gonna go in with the box fire, living artillery, and so many members of Elysian Dawn gonna be on the bottom side of it. Koyash does not land the death sentence. Flash expended. Will be multiple summoner spells used, but now Elysian Dawn can go for this second Drake. It would be a 3v4 in favor of Elysian Dawn if Akuma Sabers want to attempt it. Mui going to hijack the Frozen Tomb. Koyash going to force the cleanse out of Rat. Does not get the flame for them to go back in, and that is taking so long for this Drake to come out. A lot of damage gonna come in on the multiple members of Elysian Dawn, and the steal from Akuma Sabers is big. Mui will take out very little feet, and that is going to be a 1-for-1 so far with Kyle dead. But Koyash is not long for this world. The Cloud Winds will quicken, and it will be Fire that comes out with another kill. Oh no, Akuma Sabers.
Oh, it's not over, Jesse.
It's not over yet.
We're not done. We're not done. Okay, wait, we might be done.
We're done.
Okay, we're done.
You're done. You're done.
As you did mention, Cloud Soul. Woo!
Let's go.
Let's go. Game, set, and match on the. Oh wow.
Oh. Okay, Mui.
Mui
was not done with that play. The Uno reverse card on us, and Rat is not done with his play in the bottom lane. There it is. It'll be a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane, though.
Yeah. What? Yeah. I mean, I guess we're not done.
Oh, Fear Beyond Death lands. Consigo Poor will take out Toomey. But these plays are not over. It is a bloodbath, Isaac. As now we've got the Ball Breaker landing on the Contigo Poor. Renku will pick that one up. And it is 1-for-1s across the rift here, Isaac.
It's not over.
It is not over. Mui essentially in trouble. Going to have to hijack the Cyclone. We'll get Cyclone for Cyclone. Ratchet coming in. Can they pick up the kill? No! Ratchet gets the big shutdown onto Mui, and that's going to be all of those Dark Steel Sacks getting taken away.
Okay, recap. Not only for just in general, but for myself, because that was way too many, like, just separate fights. I just need to make sure I remember this correctly. Dragon stolen, like, almost 2 minutes ago. Yeah, almost 2 minutes ago now, because we're looking at the 3 minutes on the next Drake. So yeah, 2 minutes ago, Dragon stole, absolutely massive. Actually, maybe not absolutely massive, but definitely advantageous fight for Akuma Sabers, and then, I mean, just a bunch of 1-for-1 trades. Honestly, I'm trying to just brain is melted. You gotta help me out here, because the CC is extended to real life. And speaking of CC,
there's that. That's
yeah, there is that.
Rat dying. Like, there's no other way to say it. Just gets caught out with 4 members of Elysian Dawn there. Teleport from Mui will get nothing, as Toomey is going to be up against Contigo Poor in this top side battle. Turret plates are about to fall. And with turret plates about to fall and 14 kills, we are looking at a kill like every 50 seconds here. And it does not look to be stopping at this point, Isaac. I gotta tell you, this is a bloody game.
It's not over. It's not over.
The equalizer are gonna drop. Contigo Poor will go down. Renku will survive. And first brick of the game is gonna go to Akuma Sabers' top side.
Yeah, 18 kills in 14.5 minutes. So someone with the calculator wants to put out the exact kills per minute at the present moment we're sitting on. Has hardly given me a breath to speak. Wait, no. I've gotten way too many. It's hardly given you a breath. Given me way too many breaths to speak at this point. But as the fights have now somewhat concluded, I would need a whole entire, like, synopsis and, like, hardcore investigation down to as to how the 4 members of Akuma Sabers are able to secure that Rift Herald completely uncontested, because there has been so much all over the map that I have lost track. And I'm not even the one doing play-by-play. I can only imagine. Actually, it might even be a little bit easier because if you're constantly saying the same thing, not the same thing. Hello, that's insulting. Constantly speaking about what's happening, maybe might be, but even then, it like.
Here, I got you. I got you. Let's go for a reset. Let's go for a reset here. We're at 15 and a half minutes into the game. A dragon is spawning in 30 seconds. The big winners of the laning phase going to be Mui on this Silas. It's going to be, Ratchet doing pretty well. But we're looking at this team fight with an item on every member of both teams, and it's already going to start. Koyaji is going to be able to flash away after utilizing the box. Great Cyclone from Furry Little Feet. Going to get the knock off on the multiple members. The teleport from Contigo Poor. Fire getting the Dawning Shadows. Mooney is 1 HP, going to be able to potentially get out. Renku goes into the Furry Little Feet, but the Cure Beyond Death is on from Contigo Poor. Comes in at the right moment, gets the fear onto Rat. Does not matter. Contigo Poor with a double kill, and 5 members of Elysium Dawn are still standing to get this Cloud Drake.
There were like 50 different moments in that fight that I thought would be decisive, none of which was Kyle finding the hook onto Fire with having Koyashi already flashed away. There's no way they attempt this, right? Surely not.
Of Akuma, they're gonna land the rocket grab onto Contigo Poor. It will be a 1-kill exchange. Toomey's gonna go down. Kyle cannot take out Furry Little Feet, and that's gonna at least be a kill, but it's a 1-for-1. So overall, 4 kills to 1 kill, and Dragon getting taken for Elysian Dawn. That will even out the gold count. That will give almost second item to Ratchet, and that's going to secure boots and a component for second item for Contigo Poor.
Stunned. That's all I have to say. The CC has extended into real life with how much it has gone down into death sentence going to be taken away by a movie. Not the worst one to take. On the Silas, a little bit surprising considering on what was probably available, but okay, we're going to take a step back, mostly for myself, because I've also gotten lost in the mess of this fight. There's 23 kills in 17, almost 18 minutes. We'll say 18 minutes. I would hope that we don't get something before then. Gold count's fairly even despite the kills being slightly favored towards Elysium Dawn. I mean, what? I don't even know what to make of this game anymore. I've tried to I feel like the more I think about with these games, that how bloody they are, the more you try to think about them and like parse together. At least in my singular brain cell, it's like the CC exists in real life is the takeaway I'm getting from this as we get another fight.
Oh no, what an outplay against Rat and Kyle. Oh my god, the clone into Cyclone is gonna give 2 kills over to Elysian Dawn. That actually might even be 3, as Mui is gonna use the box, gonna get nothing out of it. The death sentence is gonna land, but it's big damage though. Big damage from Toomey. Huge damage from Toomey on the equalizer. He's gonna make this play for Akuma. Sabers will get the shutdown on a Furry Little Feet. I live. Thank God for Toomey, who has been a star here in this series.
Never before have I heard the equalizer be such an appropriate name for that ultimate than in that last fight. I mean, right? Like, single-handedly, one press of a button in the right choke point from Toomey single-handedly turned what looked to be almost a disaster for Akuma Sabers. All of a sudden, maybe not quite favored, but certainly. Ooh, I'm sure Toomey's going to be fine, right? Yeah, he's fine. All right. But yeah, I mean, at first I thought surely was going to be a decisive and completely done and dusted fight there early on for Elysium Dawn, as they look like they might start to take just a gold lead for either of these teams in this game. Just quickly shut down. I mean, no. Toomey said no, and now we're sitting at 20 minutes in, and not about 100 gold between these two teams at 20 minutes. It's about as even as it can possibly get, and I feel like the more this game goes on, the more my brain melts. And as I try to... Oh, wait. Oh, no.
Okay, Fire, you get hated by Shelly. That's actually going to be a play there in the river, though, as Mooney is going to be hit by the Frozen Tube. Dawning Shadows will be able to keep them alive from Rat, and it is now a 5v3 in favor of Akuma Sabers here in the bottom side of the rift. Ratchet's in trouble, has no way to get out. Toomey's on a rampage. Koyesh is going to try to flash away, but the cease and desist will stop any chance of that happening. And Akuma Sabers will win this fight and will equalize the kill count. Very Little Feet going to be up against Mui, though. Could potentially get another kill here. Going to get the Honey Fruit, trying to be able to stay alive. Mui could outplay Very Little Feet. Can he do it? Can he do it? No, he can't.
Well, there was an attempt. And honestly, at this point, that's really all you can ask. At least not at this point. At that point of the fight, it's really all you can. It's the best you can do. But I mean, kicking off to what actually started that fight. Wow, Kyle. Fair play. That's just Blitzcrank stuff for you. It's one of those things that you never rule out a team that has Blitzcrank on their team because he can Blitzcrank the champion, just pull out magic like that. And clearly, so is Kyle, because it was a moment that I thought I had to finally reorganize my reorganize thoughts so we could finally try to figure out what the heck is going on in this map. Why in the world that at 22 minutes, even after a big fight like that, is there only a 1k difference between these two teams? And as that Cloud Drake goes down, it'll be a second Cloud Drake going over to the side of Elysium Dawn, so no more soul point just yet. Actually, hold on.
We're gonna go in, the Equalizer gonna get a little bit of damage on the Furry Little Feet. Ratchet gonna go golden with the Zoni's Hourglass, and 2 is gonna go down, but it's gonna be Kyle that'll take out Ratchet, so it's 1-for-1. AP targets going to fall, supports taking kills. Unfortunately, that shutdown and that shutdown gold is gonna go over to Koyesh, which is not the play that you want.
Fire, you don't want to be there.
Mui gonna try to go for the Fear Beyond Death, gonna get stunned, misses it. Will go down. Fire able to survive. Living Artillery will fall, and Akuma Sabers unable to win 2 fights in a row will give Elysian Dawn a slight power play for the next 30 seconds.
Never mind, Fire. That's exactly where you want to be. That was just exactly. Oh, for a second there, I thought the synergy on the between the Blitzcrank and the Senna may have been absolutely next level. But the initial portion of that fight, one thing that I really liked from Akuma Sabers, they used the lack of vision around the Baron from Elysium Dawn. So even though they concede that first Drake, knowing that they were immediately moving towards that Baron, they moved off the Baron near instantly. And I mean, I'd have to say surely the blue trinket from Rat surely must have not been up, because if it was, you'd have to think they'd place it on the Baron to spot out that the rest of Akuma Sabers wasn't taking that Baron. But no, either way, it's really good use of playing around the vision from Akuma Sabers to get a favorable start to that fight. That being said, Contigo Poor going to be moving down with Mui taking a few tower shots.
Mui gonna be fine, though, does have some assistance here with Renku, but I do not know if you win this fight, and you do not. And now with Furry Little Feet, this could be a play that goes into Elysian Dawn's favor. Fire and Koyesh, we're seeing Equalizer going to drop a little bit of damage onto Fire, but does not have the Rapid on Death tab available. 3 members of Akuma Sabers going to try to go into Fire. Fire going to get hit by the Rocket Grab. The Cathian Surprise going to deal a little bit of damage onto Toomey, onto Rat, but now this play going to be in onto Akuma Sabers. They have the opportunity to go for big kills here. Toomey going to land a little bit of damage. The flash forward from Kyle, connecting. The Frozen Tube is going to get used by Ratchet, but it is a 1-for-1 in this exchange so far. Fear Beyond Death going to be used onto Toomey. Poor old Toomey will fall to make it a 2-for-2 play once again.
Oh, wait,
no
Mui?
coming on top. Mui going to have to use the Frozen Tube, uses it offensively onto a Contigo. Poor survives because there's no heal cut on Elysian Dawn. And this game and this fight and this exchange and every single moment of this play is just absolutely gag-worthy. I'm dying over here. And it's an ace for Akuma Sabers.
Well, apparently not, because that fight had gone on long enough to where a few of the members could respawn. But yes, I mean, effectively an ace. But, I mean, Kyle, man. A few of these hooks have been next level. I mean, sure, the flash onto fire is one of those things that you catch the enemy ADC disrespecting. Sure, not exact. Still really heads up from Kyle. Not going to take any away from that, but something that you don't. It's not necessarily untoo common, but the fact how he was able to find fire to start out that second part of the fight, like just impressive. Like they still had the advantage. I'm not going to say it would have been the only reason why they won that fight or why that fight happened in the first place, but still, I mean, yeah, next level stuff from Kyle so far in this game 3.
I agree. I mean, Kyle putting in the work on the Blitzcrank as the Trailblazer as well. But speaking of items, don't have a chance to talk about items. We're going to get another fight here potentially. Nope, the Rocket Grab will hit the clone from Very Little Feet, and I'll be bamboozled. Anyway, 2 items completed for everybody here on every champion. But it's the players with 3 items that we got to look out for. Frozen Heart completed for Renku. Rabadon's Death Cap now unlocked for Atumi, and the Rapid Fire Cannon completed for Rat. Akuma Sabers feeling confident in their opportunity to get massive effectiveness with the gold that they just accumulated. On the other side, Ratchet finally going to pick up some guild cut with that Oblivion Orb, but does not have 3 items. Furry Little Feet does not have 3 items, nor does anybody else on the side of Elysium Dawn currently. The gold is more effectively used for Akuma Sabers, and we're going to see fight potentially. The box is going to get dropped. Mooney going to be on the wrong side of the map of the Rift, will be taken out before they can get any sort of further exchange. And now a 5v4 with the Dragon Spawn, Akuma Sabers starting it. They will get it.
Yeah, a lot of resources and just champions really committed towards that mid lane from the side of Elysium Dawn do manage to find Mui moving a bit too far up despite that. Oh wait, hold on.
Very Little Feet gonna go into the Cyclone, going to get a lot of damage with the Cyclone. Toomey's in trouble. Toomey goes down, as well as Kyle, who actually seals his own fate with the Rocket Grab. And with 3 members of Akuma Sabers dead, Elysium Dawn can start to take control of Baron Nashor. They will start it. And I don't even know if Akuma Sabers can contest.
I mean, maybe if they lucked out a bit, they might be able to find something. They do have a lot of range with Rat, and now with the teleport, this teleport maybe, just maybe, going low enough.
Wall breaker! He gets it! Oh my god! And Mui's gonna be able to take down Ratchet. Will not be able to get anybody else, but the Baron is stolen by Akuma Sabers. I live for Renku's audacity, confidence, and they will get out. I don't know how many Baron buffs were given over to Akuma, but they have it for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, more importantly, it's that that Elysium Dawn don't get that Baron buff to start to just blow out this, or at least not blow out this lead, but to like start getting that gold level. As you were saying quite a while ago now with the items. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that it is Cogmal, it is fire not going to being on that 3 items. 3 items such a large portion for Cogmal, and he has been struggling to, especially with the short range, to get a lot of damage off. And so we are going to have to wait for that moment to, see Cogmal really well, as I say that, of course, she buys it. I mean, cancel that. So up until this point, yes, and I think that's been a large part of. Wait, hold on. See, Ward. Hit Ward.
Ratchet gets caught out, but is able to use his Zoni's Hourglass and Drone's Tune to be able to get away. But this is now a team fight that both teams want to play. Going to be Furry Little Feet being able to use the Dark Passage to be able to get out. The box will slow everyone down. Mui wants it, gets the abscond, but a great play from Koyesh doesn't mean enough Rat will be the one that picks up that kill. Furry Little Feet now in trouble. Furry Little Feet! Oh no! Will get hit by the Dawning Shadows to finish the job. These players are insane. It's now a 5v3 power play in favor of Akuma Sabers. They can clean up this gold, and they're looking to potentially go for big wins here.
I mean, big wins. I mean, absolutely massive. Their next objective here is probably the Nexus.
Louis, gonna have to go golden. Does have the Seeker's Aura Guard, but does not get it in time to stop off the Fear Beyond. Death will die. So that'll now be a 4v3 play in favor of Akuma Sabers for now. Koyesh is now back. Kyle lands another rocket grab. This man is insane. Ratchet's gonna use the Frozen Tomb. The Death Sentence gonna come in on Renku. Gonna be forced to flash away. Inhibitor falls in the bottom lane. Inhibitor is gonna fall in the mid lane. Equalize is gonna pop, and they're gonna try to run for their lives, and they will get out.
I mean, these last few minutes have pretty much gone near perfectly for Akuma Sabers. There was that little hiccup there, if I recall, in the mid lane where they gave a few kills over, but I mean, still overall, I mean, this game looked even for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, in like the last 2 minutes, like really, maybe not 2 minutes, maybe more like 3 minutes. It has all but gone. It's just been all Akuma Sabers, really. Also, I would say large of that part of that has been a few of these hooks from Kyle. Even once again, it does get more difficult as Blitzcrank, even when you are popping off the way it is, to like find these angles, just because of the amount of pressure that other champions can exert. And Blitzcrank, even though semi-tanky himself, not exactly the most tanky champion in the game, definitely can't create the most amount of space, at least for himself. But yeah, it just doesn't matter for Kyle, really. He just doesn't care. And wow.
Yeah. Wow, indeed. 8 seconds until the Cloud Drake spawns. Baron is not up for another 2, so this would potentially be a 5v5. Teleport is not available for Ratchet, but Kentucky Port does have it, but he is there in the lane. Mui going to try to go for an ensconce against Koyesh. Will drop the Frozen Tomb onto Koyesh. The box, ineffective. Furry Little Feet gonna get a 4-man knockup, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And Akuma Sabers are gonna get a team fight win. They could go for the Cloud Soul. They could potentially go for the end here. And that is big. They can potentially win the series off of this fight. And a Contigo Pour going to be brought back in. Will be able to survive for a little while longer with the Sterak's Gauge. Rat is godlike. And that's got to be GG for Akuma Sabers.
I mean, yeah, surely. Wow. That was 3 auto attacks from Rat. Yeah, I don't know how else to expand on that, other than Rat puts in 3 auto attacks to get the ace. And yeah. I mean, that whole entire game was pretty much perfectly level until all of a sudden it wasn't. I mean, that is the only way to describe that. I mean, yeah, Kyle though. I mean, really, I think there's been no more decisive sort of play of the game, certainly in this series. And you just say, oh yeah, Kyle, take it, because man, I counted at least 6 different decisive Blitzcrank hooks that just created wins where they seemingly didn't exist before then, just out of the blue. And we've sung his praises all game so far, but rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I mean, shout out to Tubi as well. I mean, putting in an inferno of damage here on this Rumble, 34,000. I would say the most consistent player on the series, being able to get in a lot of effectiveness with the Poppy in game 1, and then especially here on this Rumble had a couple of really great equalizers. Kyle's Blitzcrank, undeniably, I think the most impactful player because he got so many picks off of multiple players here in game 3. And overall, a very entertaining series to start off week 1 of Blue Otter Diamond. Let me get some confirmation really quick from Wookie if we do interviews here. I'd love to do one. Okay, we're no interviews, so that means we're going to be ending the show here. Before we go, Isaac, any final thoughts?
I want the dragon picks.
You sure did.
Picks. Game, set, and match. Game, set, and match my way. I mean, obviously, because clearly that's what's the most important thing here, and
It is
totally,
important.
totally, definitely not this something of a game 3. On one hand, incredibly entertaining. On the other hand, what did I just watch? Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what? But yeah, so clearly, no. But in all seriousness, what an I'm starting to fall over my own words just to describe. But yeah, thanks Wookie and everyone at Blue Water League for not only having me on, also Moose, you've been wonderful tonight, covering for quite a few too many brain farts on my end. I do apologize.
No
Yeah,
worries.
incredible
Happy to
stuff
help.
overall.
No worries.
I've had a blast.
And I've had a blast as well. Happy to be here. Happy to help. As Isaac was alluding to, I am not the caster, the normal caster you guys will be experiencing here at Blue Otter for Thursdays, but happy to be here for week 1 to get the ball rolling. And boy, did we get the ball rolling on a good note. On behalf of everybody here at Blue Otter, Wookie Monster, our producer, Isaac, and myself, have a great rest of your night. Have a safe and fantastic weekend, and have a great time. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.